You're welcome.
To help improve the security situation, top officials of the American Embassy come calling.
We understand that Nigeria faces a tremendous challenge, but that we believe that by working together, by working for holistic solutions, multifaceted solutions that address all the areas that may have may have fed into the current difficulties, that we can help Nigeria to achieve its tremendous future prosperity and success.
And for the man who has been helmsman at the critical times of trouble, he says ignoring security reports may have contributed to the Boko Haram menace.
If we had been listened to from the beginning, maybe a lot of the problems that are happening in the country today would not have been happening. Because when we started reporting about foreigners getting into health problems here, we were not believed. I recall sitting with the then American ambassador, M.S. Sanders, explaining to her all that was happening here. I didn't know the report that was sent to the State Department was different from what I really explained.
Tackling security challenges is not a one-man show. Collaborations such as this will go a long way in bringing solutions to the Boko Haram crisis.
Now, the tussle between the NSCDC officials and some residents in the Ejigbo area in Lagos seems to have simmered just a little bit as the 8 detainees held over an alleged fuel theft have been released. One of their lawyers, Adedamola Sholesi, said that the bail condition was received by the NSCDC and revealed in a phone conversation that a member of the House of Representatives stood as surety. The victims have been told to report to the NSCDC station on September the 10th.
Well, still to come on Newstrack and on the foreign scene, the United Nations team in Syria investigating a chemical weapons attack has postponed its operations till Wednesday.
Please join us again for the details.
Fun, inspiration and knowledge. That's what you get from readers, writers, publishers and the entire book world. Get some interesting reviews, events, interviews and latest updates from the book world. The channel's book club, inspiring you one page at a time.
Welcome to Business News. The board of the Nigeria Export-Import Bank, NEXIM, recently reconstituted by President Goodluck Jonathan, has been inaugurated with a charge to further boost regional trade in West Africa. The Minister of Finance, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, who inaugurated the board, noted that the present administration remains committed to the task of reforming or transforming the Nigerian economy and expanding regional trade through the incorporation of the West African Economic Zone.
She described Nexim Bank as an important part of the Nigerian financial sector, set up to promote international trades, adding that the government is anxious to make its economic weight felt beyond the sub-region. More companies continue to send their financial results for the period ended June 30 to the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Now, this time, FBN Holdings joins the list. For the period under review, the company recorded a 7.7% increase in its gross earnings, with a profit after tax of 46.1 billion naira. Profit before tax jumped 2.5% to 54.8 billion naira. The company's net assets appreciated by 3.8% to 455.5 million naira. Now, the federal government has borrowed an additional 240 billion naira in foreign loans to expand power transmission facilities. The money is coming in form of loans from the World Bank and the African Development Bank, the Eurobond issue, and the Chinese Exim Bank. Attention will be focused on expanding the transmission network in Nigeria to ensure that the new power generating plants function properly.
The Presentation today was by the Transmission Company of Nigeria, and that was to explain to the PACP all the things we need to do to make sure that all the power generated between now and several years to come, that the capacity is there to do that, and also to point out the funding gaps. And very thankfully to Mr. President and the National Council of Privatization, NDPAC, Federal Ministries of Power and Finance and Petroleum, much of what is needed in order to do these things are being put in place. We also have a substantial amount of funding coming in forms of loans from the World Bank, African Development Bank, Eurobond issue, Chinese Exim Bank, and NDPAC had already designated $1.6 billion US for the expansion of transmission facilities in the country.
On the foreign scene, the United States is no longer just speaking, it's ready to take action. American forces are ready to launch strikes at Syria if President Barack Obama chooses to order an attack. This comes after the U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry said there was undeniable proof that Syria had used chemical weapons.
The UK is also preparing contingency plans for military action in Syria. Prime Minister David Cameron has cut short his holiday and returned to London to deal with the crisis. The UK Foreign Secretary of State William Hague is also in Downing Street to discuss the situation in the war-torn country.
In South America, Brazilian Foreign Minister Antonio Patriota has resigned in the wake of a diplomatic scandal with Bolivia. He quit after a Bolivian opposition politician holed up in the Brazilian embassy in La Paz for more than a year fled the country in a diplomatic car. A Brazilian official has admitted using his diplomatic immunity to drive the senator across the border without permission from the country. Senator Roger Pinto was given asylum at the Brazilian embassy last year. He had been accused of at least 14 crimes in Bolivia, including corruption. He denied the charges and asked for asylum, saying he was being persecuted.
Let's take you through our sports stories at this hour. President of the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, Solomon Ogba, has revealed the reason 26 athletes were selected for the African Junior Championship in Mauritius.
Ogba told Channels Television that most of the athletes falsified their ages. He also gave a hint on the prospects of Nigeria hosting the 2018 African Senior Championships.
If you look at the junior team going to Mauritius, from 35 athletes we reduced them to 26. You know why we did that? We discovered that many of them, their ages are not the true ages. Somebody can be 21, his age can be 20, and the real age will be like 34. And for training, there's a limit you can go. So no matter what training you give the person, it cannot give you output of more than 45% because of the age. Because you are training somebody for youth, because youth have their own program, or junior, and the person is actually a man. So it will be counterproductive. So we took time to say, okay, this person, we discussed some who have done National Sport Festival in 2004. What are you doing in junior? No. Whether you have passport or not, you are not going to be part of our team. Let us go there and not win. But we know that we have a crop of young people we can focus on. And if we focus on the young people, the result will show in 2 years. I need to discuss with the minister to agree on the whole city. For now, I think there are 3 cities who are bidding: Lagos, Calabar, Warri. For Lagos too, for them to hold, they must change that track. Yeah. And now, not only the track, they don't even have a warm-up track. Yes. So what we can do, we can use the main bowl as warm-up and use the carts to drive them in. So, and I think Nigeria will be ready. We'll have a lot of athletes who can really...
Elsewhere, Manchester United manager David Moyes and Chelsea boss Jose Mourinho are both pleased after playing out a goalless draw in the English Premier League. Both managers are also impressed with the performance of Wayne Rooney, the subject of transfer speculation between the two clubs.
And I was